The cosmos, a giant canvas, the most spectacular and beautiful creations. Could this masterpiece be nothing more than a coincidence? Or is there a grandmaster artist behind it all? The battle between God and science spans thousands of years. Which side is the right one? Or is it possible that both can go hand in hand, explaining one another? Our Earth is but a tiny speck in the grand scheme of things, a drop of water in the cosmic ocean that is the universe. We are surrounded by a seemingly infinite expanse of galaxies, stars, planets, and cosmic phenomena. And within this vastness, there are patterns, systems, and laws of nature that govern everything we see and experience. This complexity often leads us, mere mortals, to question, to wonder, could all of this have come into existence by itself? About 14 billion years ago, all matter, energy, space, and time exploded from a single dense point, an event of unimaginable heat and density. From this fiery birth, the universe expanded and cooled, eventually forming galaxies, stars, and planets, including our very own Earth. Did the law of nature create us through nothing more than random events? And could religion support our scientific perspective of the beginning? We'll revisit this question shortly, but first, let's delve deeper into the science. One of science's enigma is the existence of the universe itself. How did it all begin? And most importantly, why does it exist in the first place? Let's discuss a couple of scientific theories that attempt to tackle these questions. First off, we have quantum mechanics. Imagine it as the rule book for a cosmic game, a game played by subatomic particles. These particles dart around the universe, spinning, jumping, and interacting based on a set of rules. These rules are strange and counterintuitive, allowing particles to be in two places at once or to change their behavior just because they're being watched. Yes, you heard right. Particles are shy performers. Next, we have the multiverse theory. Let's think of the universe as a loaf of bread. Each slice of the bread represents a different universe, each with its unique set of laws and properties. Our universe is just one slice of this cosmic loaf, and there could be an infinite number of other slices or universes out there. Some might be almost identical to ours, while others could be wildly different. In some of these universes, life isn't possible due to the laws of physics, while in others, the laws of physics might allow for life as we know it, or life might take on forms we can't even begin to imagine. These theories, while fascinating, raise more questions than they answer. If quantum mechanics is the rule book, who wrote or programmed the rules? If the multiverse theory is correct, who baked the cosmic loaf of bread? If the universe is a game where particles follow quantum rules, who then, you might ask, created the game? These are the questions that push the boundaries of science towards the realms of philosophy and belief. Just as a bread should have precise ingredients, baked at a specific temperature for the exact time, our universe is perfectly shaped by its four fundamental forces to create the best and only conditions possible for life: gravity, electromagnetism, weak nuclear force, and strong nuclear force. The fine-tuning of these forces has resulted in the universe being perfectly suited for the existence of life as we know it. Even a slight change in any of these forces would render the universe unable to support life. Earth, situated in its Goldilocks zone, features perfect gravity, distance, rotation, geological activity, and various other factors essential for life. Any alteration to these parameters would prevent our existence. Furthermore, physicist and astronomer Dr. Hugh Ross believes that the evidence of God can be found in the eclipse. He argues that we are living in a unique era in Earth's history, allowing us to witness these eclipses because the moon's distance from the Earth is perfect for completely blocking out the sun. He stated, "If we were here at a different time, we would not be able to understand the physics of our sun and other stars to the extent that we can. God wanted us to be able to read the whole book of nature." Many physicists believe that these perfect conditions are evidence of a creator, while others argue that it is nothing more than the result of rolling the cosmic dice on a grand scale. Some neurologists believe that it's not a deity that created the universe, but rather our brains that constructed the concept of a higher power. They argue that religious individuals exhibit activity in certain regions of the brain that non-believers do not, suggesting a biological basis for religious belief. Conversely, some computer coders argue that a divine being is the true creator, proposing the idea that our universe is merely a program designed by a higher power, a simulation akin to a video game like The Sims. Consider the possibility of creating AI beings with consciousness in the future. Without a clear message from their programmer, they might never realize that they are part of a simulated world. Some theorists even suggest that we are creations of a higher power, existing as nothing more than a program designed by this divine entity. They propose that everything in the universe could be nothing more than lines of code in a godlike computer from a higher dimension. Furthermore, when we consider video games, every frame we see is precisely the frame needed for the game, creating the illusion that only what we are looking for exists, while the rest of the game world remains inactive. Similarly, in the subatomic world, matter spreads out and lacks a definite form until observed, resembling the concept of a video game rendering only the necessary frame. It's as if our world is pixelated, only taking on a definite form when observed. Stephen Hawking, one of the brilliant minds of our generation, once said, "To me, there is no possibility for a creator, since there was no time for a creator to have existed. Time itself began at the moment of the Big Bang, which was an event that cannot have been caused or created by anyone or anything." And yet again, when you look at video games, they also have their own kind of time that is created when the programmer designs the game. In the same sense, it is possible to create these games even before the game clock started. If you exist in a higher dimension, with a different concept of time. Charles Darwin proposed that evolution created all species on Earth. However, believers in intelligent design question whether life could have developed its complexity without some form of supreme guidance. They liken the idea of complex evolutionary leaps to a tornado passing through a junkyard and assembling a usable building by itself, arguing that such complex leaps wouldn't be able to occur spontaneously. To understand how evolution works, it's important to consider the role of DNA. For every cell to survive, it requires DNA, which contains the genetic information for any organism. When cells grow and divide, the DNA must copy identically to maintain the genetic information from one generation to the next. While errors in the DNA can give a species an advantage and enhance its chances of survival and reproduction, DNA cannot replicate on its own. It requires polymerase, which was not present in the early stages of life. This presents a significant challenge to the theory of evolution. Some scientists believe that genetic material made of a simpler sugar could have formed on its own, potentially leading to the creation of TNA, the ancestor of DNA. However, the specific capability of TNA to copy itself is still unproven, leaving the question of whether life could have created itself open to debate among scientists. Michael Behe, a biochemist from Lehigh University in Pennsylvania, has raised concerns about Darwin's theory based on random mutations alone. He points to evidence in the cell, highlighting the complex nanofactories made of molecules. Examining bacterial tail systems, he argues that even the tiniest alterations would render the bacteria unable to function, suggesting that such basic and simpler forms of life could not have been created by evolution one step at a time. Any earlier form with even the smallest change would have destroyed this life form's ability to function and survive to the point of that final perfect leap. And yet many believe that evolution is possible, even if a single leap is incredibly complex given the billions of years life has had to develop. However, when you examine one of the universe's fundamental concepts, it's hard to imagine that this is the case. Entropy, a fundamental concept in physics, chemistry, and information theory, provides insights into the direction of spontaneous change and the natural tendency towards disorder since the Big Bang. This is why we get illnesses, why we die, and why stars die. It's also why hurricanes create disorder and are never known to build functional buildings. This raises some questions about the theory of evolution. Our cars, airplanes, smartphones, none of them could make a single leap by simply exploding their old versions. It's hard to imagine this even after billions of attempts. So was it really the case for life? When you consider that scientists estimate billions of species have lived on Earth, each one more complex than the last? So is science and belief intersect in this cosmic conundrum? Let's find out. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky." So God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth of every kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. At the end of the day, science and belief could be two sides of the same coin. Some questions of the universe may never be answered. No one can definitively prove the existence or absence of a God, both claims based on belief. This could be one of the questions we never find a concrete answer to. Until then, the existence of God remains a deeply personal matter of belief. Remember, only you can answer this question for yourself. So, what do you believe? Let me know in the comments below. And to understand more about how lucky we are for Earth and how unique this place is, check the next video.